it varies by client for me. And for example, the use of Gemini, ChatGPT, and those things. I have a client today that insists the entire staff use chatbots first before they do anything else. You're going to compose an email, use a chatbot. You're going to write SQL code, use a chatbot. And that's because the management believes it's an accelerator, which I believe it is too. I have another client that strictly prohibits it and actually goes so far as to block all known URLs to AI chatbots. But I think that, my opinion is that it can accelerate reading and interpreting lengthy documents, especially with lots of legalese, like you're going to encounter with GDPR and CCPA. If you want someone to understand it quickly, going through Gemini is going to be a lot faster than reading the lengthy documents. The other thing where I see it's very helpful is the right to be forgotten processes. I think those should be, SQL scripts or Python scripts or something like that. But I also believe that there's a place for AI to go in and find all the little nooks and crannies where a person's data might be hiding that the person who's writing that Python or SQL script just doesn't know about.
I mean, I think you take that another level to be able to go in and use AI to go through and find on one of those requests, if it's rectification, if it's right to be forgotten, etc., and do more scanning to find out where that data resides. So you're getting every one of those little pieces that you just talked about. So that the data privacy actions have a really good approach to be able to go through and identify what those tasks are and streamline the amount of manual time, staff time that's required to complete those requests across the gambit of privacy regulations that are out there.
This is a very interesting topic. I feel a lot of different aspects of data has all these aspects have to come together. For example, for me to determine if there's a security breach or some anomaly, first of all, I'm getting streaming data. And all these models are not used to streaming data. They're trained on static data at some period in time, because training a model is not for the faint of the heart. It costs a lot of money, thousands of GPUs. And so now we're talking about putting these models to use on real-time data. So that's streaming is one. The second thing is that even if the LLM is able to, we have a fine-tuned small language model, or using RAG, we are able to get this data into an LLM to do some analysis. We still need historical data, because the historical patterns against which I must check in real time. So that's why I need access to historical data as well. So and then on top of that, even if I have historical data, even if I have real-time streaming and I put it together, how do I know the relationship between all this data? For that, I need a knowledge graph. So now you see all these things we've talked about, all of a sudden you need all of these things to have a credible, very powerful Gen AI-based solution, but we cannot ignore our existing data. And because we cannot ignore our existing data, so all the data governance, data quality, access governance, all those things become very important.
And sometimes it's also understanding that regulation itself and really what has changed, right? So do you think these tools can help us with that, to not have a person scour through the hundreds of pages and really understand what the differences are and interpret it, but have some sort of an LLM tool deployed that will be able to offer those answers a little bit quicker?
Yeah, George, we at Ontotext call this regulatory alignment things RegTech, right? It's a sort of a technology that solves regulatory and compliance requirements. And AI may be one approach to doing it, but the way we are thinking about it, and we have been doing it, with knowledge graphs for a long time, especially in the financial domain, right? Regulatory technology with semantic technology helps enterprise reduce the exposure to risk and compliance issues. As Sanjeev said, it's all about building the relationships, interrelationships, right? And knowledge graphs help, because knowledge graphs can help to build that conceptual model, right? The domain model, which can encompass both structured as well as unstructured data. And we have developed tools in this space with the linked data, with the way we do semantic data integration. And like, for example, a lot of financial organizations do KYC, know your customer, which is like a customer 360, which brings in a variety of data sets. And bringing all that variety of data sets into a structured format with knowledge graphs helps to identify risks, helps to do event detection, and help you to identify regulatory non-compliance and things like that. And we have demonstrated use cases for building for showcasing these kind of things, where your domain ontology, domain model can change. Not only the instance data, but newer regulations can come in, and how those newer regulations are affecting older regulations based on temporality, as well as the capabilities of knowledge graphs to do reasoning, where you can inference newer rules from the graph itself and apply them to identify risk signals associated with the entities. So that's how we have been solving this problem. We have also of late been leveraging LLMs to do this, where we pass the changed ontology as a prompt to the LLM to update the knowledge graphs. So there is a whole set of things that needs to happen here in terms of solving this regulatory and compliance issues.
I'm looking at Gen AI in one area because I'm in Poland. Poland had regulations similar to GDPR far before, about 20 years earlier. They were even stricter than GDPR.
No way.
And every company where I even did a project, they required us to do a training. And one of the aspects is to make sure that the data, like a record, does not identify an identity, a single entity, a single person. So of course you can detect phone numbers, emails, but actually from the regulatory perspective, if there is if there are a few values and a comment that says we are talking about the person who has led a Jam live session about AI and is a well-known LinkedIn, especially in data quality and data governance on LinkedIn, it looks like you can find who that is. And if you give this record to Gen AI and ask it, is this data descriptive enough to identify a person, you'll probably get some, say, score that this data actually could reveal the identity. So that's an interesting approach, I think, to use AI to detect sensitive data in a way that would be very hard to do manually.